I've done most of the things that
First of all, it's not a walkout in the traditional sense. Professors are not abandoning their jobs. It's a teaching, as you've noticed, and this is part of it. Professors all week have been teaching students about the current crisis, its history, its implications. This is a tremendous opportunity for people to inform themselves about the political structure of California's economy, including education. Don't take anyone's word for it. Find out for yourself. Second, this is not about cuts to faculty and staff salaries. It's not about furloughs. It is about, first of all, the loss of instructional support, which has led to fewer classes, fewer GSIs, lecturers, and professors. This will result in a longer time to graduation and higher net costs to many students. No one likes to see their salaries cut, but there are bigger issues here. In hard times, we can all absorb some pain, but this is talking about permanent pain. This is amputation. For every dollar the state spends on research, it gets back $3.8 in new investment and returns. The UC system is the main producer of our doctors, engineers, business people, venture capitalists, and other people who build this economy. It makes no sense to disinvest in it.
The term middle class is a misnomer in California, for such families are barely holding on in an economy ravaged by lost jobs and disappearing social safety nets. I see my students take on that minimum wage full-time job to help preempt a foreclosure. I see them drop out for a semester so that they can gather enough funds to pay next semester's fees. As a teacher, I bear witness to the rituals of working poverty that California's college students must endure, and it angers me. The public character of the university is also about students who come from families of wealth and political privilege. It is about the great mingling that happens in our overcrowded classrooms, the late nights in labs and studios, the rowdy debates and decals. This is how the socio-economic hierarchies of California are remade in a public university. It is the best way to build how to build a nation. Access will not be preserved unless we are willing to fight for it, unless we insist upon it to state legislators and UC administrators. But the crisis gives us the opportunity to reassert the interconnected nature of our faiths, to say not in our name, to ask for justice and transparency in the implementation of budget cuts, to assert that a 4% pay reduction for workers making less than $40,000 a year is immensely more painful than a 10% pay reduction for those making more than $240,000.
Is such a decrease in public funding of your education necessary? Are these cuts inevitable given the current economic climate? Our top administrators will often use this language of inevitability, but many bright, incisive researchers among the UC faculty who I might mention routinely advise that other president, the one in Washington. Our faculty believe that the sustained degradation of financing for public education is neither necessary nor inevitable. The majority of Californians do want public education. The problem is that we are the only state in America that is governed by minority rule. In the long run, we need to convince the people of the state of California to repeal Proposition 13, overturn minority rule, and restore funding to public education. The state must become a reliable partner in financing the university, just as the UC has been for the past 140 years, a reliable partner in giving California's sons and daughters one of the best educations in the world.
For the last few years, there has been a huge mistake made in the public and in all of the discussion about education that treats education as a private investment. It treats education as if individuals and families are making a personal and private investment in the future earnings of that particular individual. I enjoy it when I go around Berkeley and I'm in the car or walking and I see a demonstration of people in the university or people from Berkeley. And they are demonstrating and they're having signs. The last time, having signs like out of Iraq or out of Afghanistan or whatever their signs are. And I love it because I love the energy and I love the commitment, but I also ask myself something, which is, who's the audience? Honk if you think we should get out of Iraq. Everybody honks. It's not hard to convince ourselves of what we already know and believe. The people we really do need to engage with are people who don't share our beliefs or our values, and we need to engage with them because we want to talk with them. Not because we want to shout at them, we want to talk with them. We want to engage them. We want to have a conversation in which we can understand why they are doing what they are doing, or failing to do what they are failing to do, and why we and our values are important to us. And we need to bridge that gap. It's easy to point fingers. But when you've been there, and you felt alone and frightened, with no resources and no discretion, and everybody is screaming at you, it's not exactly fun. And you want people to come up with ideas, and you want people to understand, and you want people to be in dialogue, and you want a public that, if not friendly, and you don't want a friendly public, I mean, nothing would happen if the public was friendly. You want pressure, yes, you want pressure on you as a public official, but you also want rational support. Rational support. So I ask you, as members of this democratic community, yes, let's have more transparency, absolutely. Let's have more dialogue and discussion and consultation, absolutely. But let's also use our talents and ingenuity to face the biggest problem we have, which is a government that simply does not work. Thank you very much.
As the rush toward out-of-state admissions for revenue purposes makes clear, student access will be, with privatization, increasingly driven by purchase power rather than by who belongs here or whom a public institution is meant to serve, let alone by the commitment to generating social equality through education. This privatization also means, fourth, deteriorating support for basic research as opposed to applied research. That is, it means not just favoring business over arts and engineering over Shakespeare. It means declining support for exploratory, speculative research in all fields. And that's the kind of research widely understood by scholars as the knowledge fundament from which all applications develop. In other words, privatization means out with Einstein, out with Darwin, out with Aristotle, in with Bill Gates, in with genetic food modifiers, and in with campaign strategies. Privatization means increased exploitation of workers. Privatized institutions, and especially privatizing institutions, are historically more hostile to unions, more effective in breaking them, subject to fewer labor regulations and contracts, and more inclined to make use of part-time work that keeps worker associations and bargaining positions weak. Efficient instructional delivery systems generating human capital are not producing thinkers who can apprehend the very processes I am describing, who can trace its history, who can theorize its power, who can calculate its destructiveness, who can limit its losses in art or in poetry. Rather, instructional delivery systems generating human capital are literally producing cogs for the machine, or to update the metaphor, generating new bits of LinkedIn human capital.
There are 2 points to the lockout. Number one, it's to put a stop to business as usual and send a clear message to both the UC Office of the President and the California Legislature that as students, faculty, and staff, we can no longer bear any more cuts. We will not allow our university to be privatized, and we expect better leadership. It's to engage students, faculty, and staff for a longer-term battle to keep UC public. So Cal has a rich history of student activism, and I think we need to remember that right now more than ever.